Herzlich willkommen im ÖMTC Mobilitätszentrum anlässlich der Präsentation der Kampagne der FIA 3500 Lives. Mein Name ist Kurt Wagner. Ihre Gesprächspartner heute sind Ehrenpräsident Werner Kraus und auch Trustee der FIA Foundation. Oliver Schmerold, Direktor des ÖMTC. Und ich freue mich natürlich ganz besonders to welcome two-time World Champion Fernando Alonso, who is one of the testimonials for the posters and for this campaign, and also Valtteri Bottas, in the moment the third place of the current Formula One Championship. Zu Beginn dieser Pressekonferenz präsentieren wir Ihnen ein Video, das uns FIA-Präsident Jean Todt für Sie bereitgestellt hat.
Ladies, gentlemen, dear friends, it is with sincere regret that I'm unable to join you in person due to prior commitments. I'm delighted that so many of you are joining today with ÖMTC to promote the FIA's 3000 Lives Road Safety campaign at their wonderful new headquarters. I'm also very pleased that Fernando and Valtteri have been able to take the time out of their hectic schedules to join you today. The campaign has a simple message. Every day, 3,500 people are killed on the world's roads. So when you are on the road, stay safe. Use a safety belt, wear a helmet, put your phone away, don't drink and drive, and obey the speed limit. Let's work together to save life on our roads. I wish you all a great day, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thank you.
Danke. Darf ich Herrn Präsident Kraus bitten?
Ja, meine Damen und Herren, Präsident Jean Todt hat es auf den Punkt gebracht, um was es heute geht. Weltweit sterben täglich 3500 Menschen. Das bedeutet also auch, dass heute 3500 Menschen sterben. Davon sind 500 Kinder. Zwischen den 15- und 29-jährigen Personen ist der Straßentod die häufigste Todesursache. Das sind Zahlen, die mich betroffen machen, und sie machen mich auch sicher, wir müssen etwas tun. Jeder Einzelne von uns, auch wenn sogenannte Entwicklungs- und Schwellenländer weitaus stärker betroffen sind, müssen wir auch in Österreich in puncto Verkehrssicherheit gemeinsam handeln. Verkehrssicherheit darf nicht an der Staatsgrenze Halt machen. In einer globalen, vernetzten Welt müssen wir das Problem gemeinsam lösen. Dabei kommt der FIA eine zentrale Rolle zu. Die FIA ist der internationale Dachverband der Automobil- und Mobilitätsclubs. Und die FIA ist nicht nur für den Motorsport, sondern genauso für die Mobilität ihrer Mitglieder verantwortlich. In dieser Funktion setzt sich die FIA bereits seit Jahren für die Erhöhung der Verkehrssicherheit ein. Und ich trage dieses Engagement in meinen unterschiedlichen Funktionen bei der FIA und im ÖMTC bei. Ein großer Erfolg war die Aktion Decade for Action for Road Safety. Im Jahre 2010 wurde auf Initiative der FIA in der UNO-Generalversammlung der 10-Jahres-Aktionsplan Decade of Action for Road Safety ausgerufen. Das Ziel ist dieses Planes, die Verkehrstoten bis 2020 zu halbieren. Die aktuelle Kampagne 3500 Lives ist eine von vielen Maßnahmen im Rahmen dieses Aktionsplanes. Diese Kampagne wurde bereits in vielen Ländern, soweit ich weiß, 80 umgesetzt, und heute startet sie auch in Österreich. I'm really very happy about the massive interest in the ÖMTC FIA Road Safety campaign, and we would like to thank the two ambassadors, Fernando Alonso and Valtteri Bottas, for their presence and commitment. Before asking them about their motivation to support the campaign, I ask ÖMTC Director Oliver Schmerold to inform about the ÖMTC's involvement in the Austrian part of the campaign.
Danke, Werner. Willkommen von meiner Seite, es geht auf Deutsch natürlich. Herzlich willkommen, 3500 Leben jeden Tag. Jetzt kann man sagen, was bedeutet das in Österreich? Auch in Österreich ist das Thema Verkehrssicherheit nicht aus unserem täglichen Leben wegzudenken. Es sind 8 Menschen im Schnitt, die jede Woche auf Österreichs Straßen ihr Leben verlieren. Und es sind täglich 8 Kinder, die im Straßenverkehr verletzt werden. Also es ist auch bei uns ein Thema, das man nicht genug bearbeiten und betonen kann. Wir haben von der FIA-Kampagne 3500 Lives 4 Sujets ausgewählt, die wir in ganz Österreich affichieren werden. Seit gestern sind sie bereits auf den Plakatständen an rund 1000 Stellen in ganz Österreich zu sehen. Und die 4 Sujets oder die 4 Messages, die wir uns ausgesucht haben, haben wir ganz bewusst gewählt. Es geht immer mit gut zu fahren, don't text and drive, immer mit Kindersitz und kein Alkohol am Steuer. Und warum haben wir uns gerade für diese 4 Motive entschieden? Im Jahr 2016 war Unaufmerksamkeit oder Ablenkung mit 29% die Hauptunfallursache in Österreich. Das heißt, don't text and drive ist absolut ein relevanter Vorsatz. Über 2300 Unfälle sind durch Alkohol verursacht worden mit Personenschaden und über 3000 Personen wurden durch alkoholisierte Lenker letztes Jahr auf Österreichs Straßen verletzt. Also nicht mit Alkohol fahren kann man auch nicht oft genug betonen. Und das wird Sie wahrscheinlich überraschen, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, in Österreich, rund ein Drittel aller im PKW getöteter Menschen, Insassen im letzten Jahr hatten keinen Gurt angelegt. Das heißt, das Thema Gurtpflicht in Österreich seit vielen Jahren präsent, aber nur im Frontbereich, nicht im Vorbereich. Und ein nicht angeschnallter Vorpassagier bei einem Frontalunfall ist für die vorderen Passagiere eine tödliche Waffe. Das darf man nicht vergessen. Wir wollen daher daran ansetzen, Bewusstsein zu schaffen. Nicht strengere Regeln, nicht strengere Strafen, sondern Bewusstsein schaffen und hier mit Botschaften, die glaubhaft und mit großer Bekanntheit für diese Themen einstehen, diese Botschaften in Österreich gut platzieren. Ich hoffe, Sie werden uns noch die nächsten Minuten begleiten und dann auch die Graffitis. Wir haben uns entschieden, die Kampagne, die von der FIA gelauncht wurde, zu verstärken. Wir haben 2 Graffiti-Künstler ersucht, Bilder zum Thema Verkehrssicherheit anzufertigen. Die werden dann von den beiden Formel-1-Fahrern signiert werden und die werden einem gemeinnützigen Zweck zugeführt werden über eine Versteigerung. Herzlichen Dank.
Valtteri, we know very busy times, only a few days to the start of the GP in Austria. What's your motivation to take time to be here with us for this campaign?
So, good morning everyone, good to be here. And why I am here, even though we are very, very busy as a drivers, I find this topic very serious, because hearing about 3,500 lives being lost on the roads is amazing, and it is way too much, and even one fatal accident is too much. And for my view on this is, for us as a Formula 1 drivers, being focused and the concentration is really the key. And whenever we are not 100% concentrated, that's when we make the mistakes. And it is exactly the same thing on the roads. If you're not focused on what you're doing, if you're looking at your phone or really completely thinking about something else, that's when accidents happen. And on the road, the difference is that you're also risking another people's lives and possibly passengers' lives. So just want to remind people to always stay focused while driving, because it's not only you who are risking, you even shouldn't do that. So please stay focused and concentrate on what you do.
Okay, thank you. Change the side. Fernando, your face is on the posters. You're one of the ambassadors for the worldwide campaign. We know you're running a driving school for young children in Spain, also for traffic education. Can you tell us about your engagement in these activities?
Yeah, well, hello everyone, and yeah, obviously the first thing with the poster and around the world spreading the message. As Valtteri said, now I think it's important for us as a professional drivers, that they watch us on television every Sunday, racing at those speeds, in those circuits. I think it's important to send, this clear message that we are doing it in a completely different environment, you know, in a racetrack that pass all the tests, you know, and in a race car that are secure enough to reach those speeds, you know. And for me, it was important, this posters the message of the seatbelt, because it's one thing that sometimes we forget in short trips and when we move the car from short distance. But you know, even if we compare to F1, we have not only one seatbelt, we have 6 seat belts, you know, to emphasize how important this matter is. And same with the telephone, same with the drink, same with everything. But especially on this seat belt, it was important to send this message. And as you said, yeah, I have a road safety program in Spain with kids. We had more than 7,000 kids going through our program in my karting racetrack. Yeah, we try to educate from the beginning, because we believe, together with FIA as well, that education from the very early age is the key for the future. 90% of the fatal accidents are coming from human error, 90%. So I think it's up to us to respect the road, to respect the cars, to respect the others, and this respect needs to come from the very beginning. You know, we want families talking about road safety at dinner, you know, with the parents and the kids. You know, we want that kind of thing from the very early age. So that's the message. Yeah, and we are here to help and to promote this around the world with our popularity or with our arrival.
Okay, many thanks. Our experts from our driving centers are here too, and I think they will be very happy to hear this strong message from your side. Einige kurze Spielregeln jetzt. Wir haben jetzt bis 11:20 Uhr Zeit für Fragen an die beiden Herren. Die große Bitte ist, das war die Bitte beider, sich auf die Verkehrssicherheitsthematik zu konzentrieren, und wir werden die Fragen nicht übersetzen aus Zeitgründen, sondern bitte in Englisch, und die Antworten kommen in Englisch. Bitte schön. Und auf jeden Fall, wer eine Frage stellt, bitte Hand heben. Wir müssen das übers Mikrofon machen.
Hello. Did you had an accident on your own on the street, and what was the reason? Have you been not concentrated enough, and what have you learned about that?
I didn't yet, you know. Hopefully, still like that. No, let's say that I'm not driving every day. When I'm at the circuit, we have always people that take us from the hotel to the circuit, and even when I'm at home, I drive, but always normally short distance. So we are more in the plane, and it's not a place to have an accident either. So so far, it's all okay.
Hello, many Austrians are doing the driving license this summer, so young people, they are driving license freshmen. Do you have any tips for them, like they are bloody beginners, from the very start? What can they do that they have never such a dangerous situation coming up? Maybe both of you.
I mean, relax, you know, be relax on the exam. I remember even myself when I did the exam, you know, I was quite tense. Because, you know, it's that moment that you have all your study, you pass the theoretical part, and then you become, you know, the guy on the steering wheel, and you have that moment, those 40 minutes, I don't know how long it takes here, but in Spain it's like 45 minutes you have to drive, and those 45 minutes, they look like 4 hours, you know, because you are always worried that you will make a small mistake here and there. And I think you cannot drive like this. You have to drive, you know, you have to respect everyone on the city, on the highway, or whatever, but you need to feel concentrate, focus on what you are doing, and sometimes the stress that you have behind the wheel, sometimes because it's the exam, sometimes because you have a problem in your work, sometimes because you have a family problem, all that kind of stress always slows your reactions and your way of thinking. So in that day, be as relaxed as they can.
Nothing to add. That was really well said. Just one question: did you pass yours on the first, or?
I did.
Yeah, yeah, first.
Yeah, I did.
Maybe one more question. Do you remember your first ever driving lesson session?
Yes, obviously. I started with the go-karts. I did my first race when I was 6, and then as a kid, I was, you know, driving a bit of everything quad bikes, motorbikes, moped, all that. But I definitely remember the first lesson with a car, and it was new situation for me, being in a traffic in a car, and yeah, it was really something very different. Even though I've been racing, driving so much other types of things, but there was, especially with all the rules and how to really deal with different situations, and especially the respect to the others, that was interesting to learn.
Yeah, same. I did one lesson, I think, before the exam. So, yeah, I remember that day, again, with some stress, because it's the first time you are out on the road with more cars and you have to take care of everything. There is not a problem to control the car because we were racing in single seaters already, but together with the others, it was this little stress, but I mean, it was a fun day, and a day that you are waiting for very long, because you are racing in go-cars, you are racing in single seaters, and you are waiting to have 18 years old and to have your first car. So it was an important moment of our lives.
You talked about the role as a role model for young kids watching the races every Sunday. Last Grand Prix we saw an action between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. How bad is that in terms of role model for road safety that this incident happened there?
May I stop this, because the question is, of course, the one part is the sport, the other part is the road safety, and we just promised to the drivers not to accept questions like this. I'm sorry about, but you can ask.
Kind of experience does this have for the road safety? Because there are Formula 1 drivers speaking for road safety.
I understand, and I asked them to explain their role for the road safety, but the question was not to reflect on some Formula 1 discussions in the past. So please ask them on the weekend, then they are free and they are ready to answer for this. Many thanks for. So, Fernando, you want to answer your role for the ambassador or for the road safety and a sportsman, but not. I
think that question Valtteri should answer, because he's in a Mercedes, that there is some relationship there on the back of him. But I mean, for us as role models, sometimes we need to definitely take care of extra things. I'm aware that every time when I'm also in my go-kart circuit in Spain, and I'm racing there with kids or something, sometimes I want to make a move on them, in a strange place, in a strange corner, and then I think, okay, there are 10 people on the grandstand, there are the parents there, so I will wait, because I'm worried to touch them, or I'm worried to, go in the grass or something like that, both go-karts, so there is always extra responsibility, but not only in the road safety, there are extra responsibility when we are in an event with our sponsors, when we wear a cap that says one company name, there is always responsibilities, but this is something that we grow up with those from very young age.
Okay. Many thanks. Please.
I will try it in a different way. Fernando and Valtteri, what do you agree with that one? One day someone told me that it is much more dangerous to go to the racetrack, comparing it with driving on the racetrack. Do you agree with that one?
So I didn't quite. I think you mean that is it more dangerous racing on track than in the normal roads?
Roads, yeah.
The track is more from the hotel to the circuit. So let's say, no? You mean on the road?
Yes.
Okay. So I think like Fernando said before, all the racetracks, they are designed to be safe, with all the safety areas for each speed of the corner. Everything is measured, everything is tested, all the barriers are tested, and our cars, they are actually extremely safe, and the safety is developing all the time with everything. So I really think racing on track is nowadays a lot safer. It's and yes, because I think also at like we have just been speaking on the roads, there's so much still work to do, and to make things better, to make everyone available, that there's too many incidents for silly reasons, which is not acceptable. So that's why I feel always being in normal traffic in more danger, which is a real shame, and that's why we need to work on that. than at the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, very similar comments, you know, I think, but it's normal, as Valtteri said. I think the circuits are really prepared for a racing competition and environment. The cars are very safe, you know, we are wearing 6 seat belts, we are wearing the helmets, we are wearing every kind of you know, technology that is out there to make the cars safer and the circuit safer. We have a fantastic race director, we have marshals, we have everything in place to compete. While in the roads, you know, I mean, anything happen, you know, a distraction from another driver, a dog, you know, crossing the road. There are many things that you need to be in alert, and you need to be ready to react. So, for that, it's important to have maximum concentration and not to have any distraction.
Street cars are also becoming more safe. Is it still important to watch the speed limit, or do you sometimes go faster?
No, I'm never go faster, and probably some of you will have the questions, so I answer in advance. I don't have any tickets from overspeed either, so I never crashed and I never had any overspeed, so far it's a record. I'm not driving every day, so maybe that helps, but it's important. As you said, I think the technology is helping the world, you know, to make the car safer, and all the companies, they are putting a lot of effort to make the car safer and safer. So all the crashes that they need to pass now, if we compare the cars from 20 years ago, they are much more dangerous. And we have systems that sometimes they came from Formula One, like the brakes, the ABS. We have different systems also that helps the driver, like you know, simple things like the tire pressure alarm that most of the cars they have now. This technology came from Formula One maybe 10 or 15 years ago, so everything keeps improving. So that's a good transition from competition to normal road car technology, and they need to keep working. I think all the companies, they make first priority to have safer cars, and I'm sure it will be like that. And then the second, as you said, you know, from the driver point of view, a speed limiter and things that are in our hands are completely mandatory and very important.
Okay, danke. Die letzte Frage, sonst läuft uns die Zeit davon, bitte.
Mr. Alonso, I had one question. You already had crashes on the track. You say the cars are safe, you have 6 seat belts, but what went through your mind when you knew, okay, now I'm going to crash? That's it.
I mean, at that point, because you are so focused in the competition and you are, you know, focus and concentrate on deliver a result. The first moment you believe that, you know, you are not anymore in control of the situation and you will crash. You are sad because the loss of points on that moment, and you are sad because maybe the car will be too damaged to continue the race. You know, that's the first thing. You know, you are never thinking on the safety because you completely trust the technology that your team put in the car. You completely trust the FIA that runoff area will be enough to slow down the car to don't have any injuries. You completely trust the marshals that they will help you to go out of the car immediately in a few seconds. So, you know, you are not thinking on the danger in that moment. You are thinking on the pure competition.
Okay, danke schön. Ich bitte Sie jetzt, wir machen Möglichkeit für Pressefotos vor dieser Fotowand mit den Fahrern. Anschließend begleiten wir Sie vor das Gebäude, wo die Herren dann noch einmal für Fragen zur Verfügung stehen werden. Es wird ebenfalls moderiert. Es sind hier auch noch ca. 250 Personen, die über eine Social-Media-Aktion die Möglichkeit erhalten haben, dabei zu sein, anwesend sein. Es wird unten die beiden Kunstwerke geben, die die Herren mit ihrer Unterschrift fertigstellen werden, die wir dann verlosen. Danke für die Aufmerksamkeit, danke fürs Verständnis wegen der Einschränkungen bei den Fragen, und bitte dann Foto und anschließend hinunter, und die beiden Herren kommen in circa 5 Minuten nach.